to start approaching girls, you need to unlock your inner confidence, which is exactly what this presentation, lecture, whatever the hell you want to call it, will do for you. Because the truth is, and I was in this position before, when you see a cute girl, when you see your crush, whatever, wherever, park, school, church, chances are you're like, she's kind of cute, but I don't know how to approach. Well, what should I say? And then you piss yourself and you go home and cry yourself to sleep. You're not going to do that anymore. Because not only has what I'm about to teach you worked for me, as you can see, it's helped me go from being skinny fat, muscular, no money, to money. And you may wonder, like, what do these things have to do with approaching girls? It has everything to do with it, because this video is going to go after the root cause. It's not going to be one of those crappy videos where it's just like, well, when you walk up to the girl, just tell her she's beautiful and that you'll give her a bunch of flowers and that, you really want her to suck on your tiny cock. And then you'll be able to get whatever girl you want. No, it's not one of those videos. And only as this, what I'm going to teach you, work for me, it's also helped a lot of other people. I've seen people go from not being able to approach girls to being able to approach girls. And it really begins with understanding your mind has gold and you got to dig for it. Okay, most people, like, imagine this. You have a gold mine, all right? Big old gold mine. Everyone has a big old gold mine. 99.9% of people don't dig enough to find their gold. The mind contains gold. So the first thing you have to ask yourself, I forget about what you're going to say, how you're going to say, how you're going to look. We're going to go over those later, but you got to start with the real root, real core. Why do you fear approaching girls in the first place? I guarantee you your answer was, got a little spoiler alert. Excuse me. Have to, so. There we go. Rejection. / embarrassment from the rejection. Now, the golden question here, the real gold is, why do you care about rejection and embarrassment? The real root of that is, again, I'm going to answer for you because I used to be in a position. I know exactly how this is that you place your value outside of yourself. So, I want you to treat women like stocks, all right? When you think of a woman liking you, that's like if you got a big win in the stock market. But in order for you to get a win in the stock market, you got to put money in, right? So you approaching in your own mind, because the girl has so much value, like, oh my God, the girl, oh my God, the girl. That's how it is, right? It's like you approaching is like you putting money into the stock. But this money you're putting in, because all your value is based on this girl, what girls think of you, what other people think of you. It's like putting your life savings in there. Because guess what? If this stock doesn't boom, if this stock doesn't make you a bunch of money, you are basically going to lose all your money. Because you're putting your life savings in. This is exactly the way you want to think about your value, okay? Because you place all your value in girls, what other people think, when you go to approach, it's like putting your life savings into approach. Because if she says no, like, ew, you're nasty, that's going to crush you. So yeah, of course you're going to fear. Would you fear putting your life savings into a stock? Duh. Especially if you have a family and you already have made a decent amount of money. That would scare you. But that's the battle you're in right now with this girl, the girls, whatever. You have to shift the value placements. And this really just goes into placing your value in yourself. As, I'm not really going to talk much about God in this lecture, but yourself through God. Don't crucify me in the comments. But one is building your house on a rock. One is building a house on the sand. So I want you to treat looks, clothes, words, cologne, all these different things that you have watched videos on. I guarantee you've watched videos on how to look better, looks, maxing, clothes, words, whatever. And these things are great. It's like having a nice house. But if you don't work on your identity, if you don't dig for the golden and understand it, like I'm going to teach you in this lecture, presentation, whatever you want to call it, you're going to build your house on sand. Identity. Your identity is like sand. Meanwhile, if you focus on what I'm going to tell you in this lecture, it's going to be like building a house on a rock. And guess, I'm not saying that you shouldn't look good, you shouldn't wear nice clothes, you shouldn't use good words. I do it. But the thing is, it's built on a rock. So guess when the wind comes, and the wind represents wind, flood, storms, whatever. That represents the big moment. Because no matter how much preparation you do, the first few times you're going to be like, and even later on, I've heard stories of people who've done a bunch of approaches get a bit antsy because that's just natural, right? That's the wind. When you, and this goes for more than just approaching girls, I mean, just being under pressure in general, that's the wind, that's the storm, all that other stuff. When the wind comes, your looks, clothes, words, cologne, when you're built on sand, you're just going to blow away. Shoo, it's going to grow all over the place. And that's going to be you. Does everyone look good when they're like this? No. Meanwhile, when the wind comes, if you built everything on the rock, when the wind, when the storm, all the stuff comes, it's going to stand firm. It's going to be able to withstand it. And then come out the other side intact. It's like coming out the other side a winner. Now, an example of a rock identity is James Bond. Okay, you probably like James Bond. You never watched James Bond. What the hell are you doing? Pierce Brosnan is the best James Bond, by the way. When you get rejected by a girl, in your mind, because you fear it at this moment, and maybe, you know, I'm so good that you're kind of starting to understand the whole issue here, and you're starting to change it already. You're like, oh no, the girl rejected me. Oh. Like a special education kid, right? You know, imagine if James Bond got rejected. Or even before. Like, do you think he cares about rejection? No. He cares. Because he's James Bond. That's called having an identity. I want you to say your name right now. Say your name. Kids are like, oh, well, my name's Joe. Or, oh, well, my name's Joe. That's your name. That's who you are. And you can't even say it with enthusiasm. Meanwhile, when the new Fortnite update comes out, oh my god, the Fortnite update. I've Fortnite. Really? When you say your name, because James Bond says Bond. James Bond. There's force behind his name. I'm not saying say your name like that, in that order. But the point is there's force behind the name, because he's a rock solid identity. So, he's James Bond with or without the girl. And that's the real key point here. Everyone's focused on, oh, getting the girl. Oh, I want to get the girl. If I get the girl, I'm going to be so happy. Let's say James Bond gets accepted, quote unquote, right? Put ACC, acronym. You think he's like, oh my god, I got the girl's number. No. Because with or without the girl, he's still James Bond. That's what having a rock solid identity is. You can approach the cutest girl, she could say no and be like, okay, whatever, don't care. Still me. And even when she accepts you, it's like, cool, I got her. It's cool, you don't have to not like things. They're like, yeah, it's cool. I wanted that and I got it. But with or without her, still me. And that'll serve you very well in the relationship later and also during your approach. So, I want you to treat your identity, this rock solid identity you're going to build, like a sun. The sun. All right? And the rays of the sun are going to be like having the girl he wants. The looks, the body language, the words, all these different things. Those are like the rays of the sun. You can't separate the sun from its rays. But right now, because you just have folks that are like, oh, the looks maxing guide, the body language, how do I say the words? You know, how do I find girl with big boobs? You're focusing on the rays without the sun. Like you're trying to have rays without the sun. That doesn't make any sense. Focus on the sun. Now I'm telling you how to strengthen that sun. So, first you got to figure out, what's your identity? I'm just going to straight up ask, what is your identity? What is it? Now, if you have trouble answering that, I mean, that's a sign of a bigger problem, but I mean, we can, for the sake of this video, we can just come up with something quickly. I mean, what's something you find really important and what's something you do all day? Hopefully you didn't say like, oh, well, I really like playing 2K. Your identity's going to be playing 2K, bro. Have it be something at least not completely stupid, not completely retarded. Okay, it could be you're on a football team, you like playing football, you're studying to be an engineer. It could be any of these things, okay? That's who you are. You have to work on this more, you have to search yourself more. But this will get rid of your neediness. There'll be no more neediness once you get this down, even if it's a placeholder identity, quote unquote. Because with or without the girl, you are still the guy that's an engineer, for example. The whole point of your existence, identity, the earthly existence is you being an engineer. It doesn't matter if you have the girl or don't have the girl. That takes away your neediness. If you don't need, you don't fear. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. What if you approached 1,000 girls? Like, you're one of those pickup artists who stay in a park and just approach girls for like 18 hours straight. I mean, I don't know why people do that, but imagine if you did. Would you be good at approaching girls if you approach 1,000 girls? I'm assuming you're saying yes, of course, because there's so much experience and so much, reps in the tank. What if I told you you can be like that guy? There was this free throw study done by Dr. Blasolato. Sounds kind of like the villain from Toy Story. The teddy bear thing. My little cousin had a teddy bear version of that. It smelled pretty good. But in any case, it was a study on visualization. And there were two groups. No, there's three groups, actually. Three groups of people. The first group didn't do anything at all. The second group physically went to the gym and shot free throws and practiced them. And then the third group showed up to the gym, but didn't touch a ball, didn't shoot free throws. They just saw it in their mind. Who do you think improved the best? And who do you think improved the second best? What do you think the numbers are? The second group that practiced every day, physically, 24% improvement. The people that visualized the free throws, just saw it in their mind, improved 23%. Almost the same thing. So, the point here is not that, you can fly if you just visualize it enough. But the point is, visualizing is almost as good as getting the physical rep set. This is very powerful for your approaches because you said yourself earlier, if you approach 1,000 times, you'd be good at it. Well, this way, if you just visualize it a few times, you're kind of emulating that, aren't you? You have to visualize a very particular way. There's first by grounding, which is your identity. We already talked about that. See it from your perspective. You as an identity. Not, I'm Joe and I don't really know. No. You're Joe. All right? Ground, identity. Then engage the senses. See, are you at the park? Are you at school? Are you at church? Smell. Does it smell like crap? Does it smell good? Touch. Imagine yourself touching different things. Like imagine, for example, I have my phone right here. I don't have to touch it to know what it would feel like because I can imagine it, right? Imagine, what if I touch that tree? What if I touch that bench? What if I smack the girl's butt? What would it be like? Imagine it. See it. No, you already did smell. What other ones? Hear. What do you hear? Taste. If I look to my phone right now, I know what it would be like. But it's kind of weird, right? Because I never looked at my phone, but I can tell by the texture on it and how it feels and how it would feel if I did look at it. So just imagine that. The point is you're putting yourself into the situation. Then you want to play out two aspects of this. I know I have here play out the but you want to play out two aspects specifically. One is the approach. So you want to feel it. Feeling's very important. You feel the jitters a little bit. And then okay. Then you approach. Right? By the way, leave a like. This video is amazing. And then, when you play out the approach, remember, you want to see you crush there. You want to see a girl there. Cute girl. Okay, you want to feel the jitters a little bit. And you approach, and then forget about what you say. Skip that part. Fast forward. And then, play out the end. You walking away with the girl's number and being like, yeah, she wants me. Oh, I'm the man. That's literally it. I guarantee you, that'll make your approaches so much better. Because this is building up your identity. All right? Because you are becoming, not later, but you are becoming right now the strong sun with the rays that beam out of not fearing your approach, being good looking, body language, all this stuff. Now, it's time for the big moment. All right? Make sure you have underwear on because you might piss yourself. Might still go through, wear a few layers, okay? This is a mode of initiation. This is talking about when you actually start approaching. So the first thing you have to understand is women are followers. Now, everyone buys these red pill courses, watches these type of YouTube videos. None of them are like mine, but, and I'm not saying the information provided isn't good. A lot of it's good information, but the real foundation, the real basis for understanding female nature and how to actually, right, I messed up lighting that video. Yeah. Okay, that's good enough. Real basis comes from the Bible, because who better to learn how women are than guy who created woman, God, or rather the man, capital N, man, God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. They literally created gods. Why wouldn't you learn from them? Right? So, story of Adam and Eve, we all know about it. And basically, the serpent picked Eve, targeted Eve because women are... You think I want to get banned? Women are... Fill in the blank. And then, she was like, oh, Adam, here's the apple. And Adam just followed along. And then ate the apple that humanity was doomed. That's a very layman's way of putting it. Now, Adam's sin here was blindly following his woman. So that clearly indicates that the inverse is how it should be. Men should lead, and women should follow. Now, male nature is designed to lead, and woman nature is designed to follow. So women are at their happiest, even because, brainwashing. But the truth is, women will always be happiest when they have a man leading them. So what you have to do is learn how to lead, which is what I'm going to teach you, precisely. First of all, don't be serious. Now, you may see the word little sister here and think that this is going to be like a freaky video, but get your mind out of the gutter, dude. All right? I wrote little sister because this is an easy mindset to use. I prefer using mindsets and principles over specific words, because specific words, depending on the situation, it can't really be used, can they? But mindsets can always be used. For example, little sister. When you talk to your little sister, do you really take her that seriously? Like, yeah, I like you, and if you're not, I'm not going to do bad things to you, I'm have fun, but I'm not going to be serious. I'm not going to talk to you about the transcendental argument for God. It's like explain ontology, epistemology, the meta-ethics of the whole thing, the metaphysics. I'm going to talk about dumb stuff, because it's not serious, right? So an example of you doing logic over emotions is asking a question like, how's the weather? That's like throwing an anchor in a conversation. Like a ship, right? A boat. Then they get an anchor, they throw it into the sea so the boat doesn't move. You say a question that's logical, like, how's the weather? It's like throwing an anchor into the sea. And the boat is the conversation. It's not going to move, bro. Because it's going to be like, oh, the weather? Oh, yes. I guess it's all right. It's a bit overcast. Where do you go from there? You threw an anchor. And you have to restart again. And that makes things awkward. Meanwhile, you want to think of conversations like tennis. And the easiest way to play tennis is just say things that are a bit, not completely retarded, but a little, a little weird. Like, you ever punch someone? Then they'll usually get a reaction. I've said this before one time. And you don't get a reaction like, no, what are you talking about? And you can make a joke about her parents like, oh, the way you look, the pants, whatever. I don't know. Whatever's natural to you, because what works for me probably doesn't work for you, and vice versa, right? But the whole point is you want to play a game of tennis. Emotions are tennis, logic's anchor, unless you're speaking to the other person that's logical. You got to say things that are kind of dumb, because then you're speaking the woman's language. That's a joke. Don't ban me. Now, the third part, tone and words. So, I know you may be a bit confused right now by looking at this, but I'll explain in detail. So, this is the first thing we'll go over here. You want to think about your conversation like a heart monitor and a roller coaster. All right, so most people, the conversations are like this. So this is, how's the weather? What's your favorite color? That type of stuff. That's a very flatlining conversation. All right, that is boring. Nothing's worse than being boring to a girl. All right, and the other conversation, and that's heart monitor, you're dead. Okay, not only is a roller coaster like this boring, but if your heart monitor flatlines, you're dead. The conversation is dead. But the other ones like this, like beep, beep, like your heart monitor is doing fine. Like you're getting beeps. It's not flatlining. It's also like a roller coaster. The roller coaster like this fun compared to this, obviously, it's the whole point of roller coaster. You want to have fun. Treat the conversation like a roller coaster. And these waves are made by positives and negative emotions. So, for example, oh, that flower in your hair makes you look so beautiful. It makes you look like a Lamborghini that got into a car crash. So up and then down. It also doesn't make much sense. So he's like, what are you talking about? And then you have to monitor, because this positive negative is how she's feeling. So you got to monitor that. And this is where having canned phrases is good. But these things have to fit your personality. So for example, me, because I'm very patriarchal, I'm very conservative. I see a girl wearing something that's not very feminine, or says something that's not very feminine. They're like, oh yeah, by the way, are you like a transgender? Now that may be a bit too much, because that's, you're kind of, because there's limits here. So for example, this is like the limits. This is when it's too positive, like, oh, can you marry me? I'm gonna give you flowers and I'm boner right now. And that's too much. And the negative is like, yeah, hey, your dad died? Oh, that guy was a loser. It's too much. You gotta play in the balance. Transgender thing, it's pushing a little bit. You gotta contrast it. But I like that one. Fits me. It's funny. I have a good time. Because remember, the whole point is have a good time. If the girl doesn't like you, if you have to change your whole personality just for her to, get the conversation going, then chances are, there's no point in even pursuing that relationship. But in any case, these are the boundaries right here, these lines. These are the boundaries of the two positive and the two negative. Now, these boundaries can widen or tighten based on the girl. So usually good girls have very tight boundaries. Double entendre. Meanwhile, the more of undesirable woman is, it widens and widens and widens. It's not very fun. When I was thinking about this example, I didn't even realize. Hey, listen, I'm just a genius, and all these different meanings come out. But the point is, you can get away with saying more positive and negative things to a girl that's like this, as opposed to a girl that's like this. But this is easier, because this is more, you can have a more natural conversation if you are used to this. But the point is, you want to just monitor how she feels. So body language, what she says, her faces, micro-expressions. Girls get very obvious expressions on their faces. So they're smiling, or stuff like that. Usually it's not that extreme. The smiles, usually get that extreme, but the point is you just want to read her and go like, okay, it's positive, now it's a bit negative, now it's bringing more positive, now it's a bit negative. It's really like that. All right, it's like playing a game. It's not that complicated. And seeing the next rule, the golden rule, the fourth rule is the golden rule. By the way, like the video. I know I already said that, but say it again, because this video is so good. Now, why do I have two pictures of guys here? You wonder, are you like a faggot or something? No. But you have to understand which side you lean on in terms of being cute or handsomely intimidating. So, imagine these two guys said, I'm going to steal your lunch money. We're even on. I'm going to steal your lunch money. One of them, you're like, oh, bro, you're going to steal my lunch money? The other one, you'd have more respect for the other one, put it like that, right? So we have to understand is that both of them girls would say, oh, yeah, older woman, quote unquote. I don't really want to get into that subject, because I have to explain a bunch of other stuff, but in general, both women would say both are attractive, but in different ways, right? One of them is intimidating, the other one's not. We have to understand is that when you speak, like, for example, if you say something a bit negative, like, oh, are you transgender? If you look more like this guy, that's going to be more negative than if you look like this guy, right? So the negatives are going to be more negative when you look a bit intimidating, because it's a bit scary, all right? That's a good thing for the long term, because it sets off primal triggers. I can get too far into that in this video, but it's a good thing, all right? In any case, you have to adjust. You have to be honest with yourself and know which side you lean on. So if you are more like the pretty boy, TikTok e-boy type, then you don't really have to worry about any of this. You just have to not have very feminine body language, because then you're going to look like a real twink. But if you look more like this other guy, and this is an experience I personally had, you have to very, very strongly think about your body language and the words you use. So, for example, me, I gotta smile a little bit more. And I have a very beautiful smile. You gotta put in a bit more humor. You gotta laugh a little bit. All these different things, because your baseline's already a little bit lower in terms of like positive or negative. Because you look a bit intimidating. Even if she finds you attractive. Because whether or not you find that guy or me attractive, we're still a little bit, one time I was walking to a basketball court neighborhood, and there was this kid riding on this scooter, on like behind another kid. It was like two kids on one scooter, and he literally just rode, whatever you would say, by me and just said, "Bro, are you a murderer?" And just look back. It's like, I don't know, 15 maybe. And I was like 17, 16 at the time. Like, that's my experience. So I know, when I speak, I gotta speak a little more softly, and also don't move quickly. All right, don't go like, don't do anything quick towards her. And generally, you should be leaning back. Whenever this matters more if you're more intimidating, so you have to lean back a little bit, move a little slowly, smile. All right, and also with eye contact. Like, all of these, they don't calibrate their advice to different people. So they always say, hold very strong eye contact. You see how I'm holding this eye contact? It looks a bit, intimidating, right? Even with the camera being higher up than my face. You have to understand, and also from the girl's perspective, she's going to be lower, like down here. See my hand? You can see my hand up there. Like down here, I'm just looking up at her like that. It's a bit scary. If you're one intimidating side, you can't hold eye contact as strongly, because your eye contact is very strong. So, you can look away a little bit. Don't be like, hi. Yeah, don't do that. But you can look around a little bit, When you're saying something, laugh, and you go like that. You talk like that. Meanwhile, if you're more on the pretty side, you can hold eye contact a little bit more. So you got to understand which side you're on and then adjust. That is a very underrated piece of advice. Very few people talk about that. But it's actually very, very important, because that can, you can have what you think would be a good approach, so to speak. Don't be like a red pill loser about it. The whole point of this is so you can find a wife. Okay, that's the real purpose of this video. I don't want you to just approach 1,000 girls like some moron pickup artist, but for example, some of my earlier approaches, I didn't think they were that bad. And they weren't that bad. I mean, the girls still liked me, but still, I kind of realized looking back, it's like, wow, I kind of come off as a bit scary, because I was holding eye contact so strongly. And naturally, my eye contact is very strong. Like, I can literally look at someone for like 10 minutes straight while I'm talking to them. And that's a very powerful tool, because you're like a thing about killing someone when you just do that. But if you're trying to talk to a girl, you should probably not. Anyways, the fourth rule is forget all of that. Now, you may be a bit pissed at me, because bro, you just made me listen to all that. You did all this stuff. I was learning so much. But now you're telling me to forget about it. Well, it gives. I'm going to tell you what gives. Do you think Michael Jordan practiced a lot? Do you think Michael Jordan thought a lot about basketball? Drawing on whiteboards, listening to his team lectures? Obviously. But when he got into the game, do you think he was like, okay, well, I caught the ball, I have to set my feet, and I'm going to put my hand this way, I'm going to put the ball this way, then I'm going to look at the rim, look at the hooks at the rim, then I'm going to jump up into two motion? No. He just got the ball and he shot it. And that's the way you got to think about this. You were just preparing for the big moment where you're not going to think about any of this. Okay? When you get into the game, don't think too much about the logic, the emotions. Oh, well, Adam and Eve, so I got to do this. Oh, well, my identity, the sun and the earth. No, forget about all that. Okay? The whole point of you watching this video, the whole point of you thinking about this, the whole point of visualizing is so you can be prepared to just go straight at it. Not so you can just sit there and go, well, I got to do this, and I'll say that, and then I'll say... Forget about all that. When you get into the game, all you have to do is feel like the man. Because you already defined what the man is. Now you just have to let your rays come out. All the stuff I taught you is just strengthening this sun you have, strengthening this identity. This is all a part of you. You as in the sun. So guess what? You don't have to think about it. Naturally, the rays will come out of the sun, and those rays will be success. Join the Discord for more amazing content, learning stuff, etc. subscribe for more amazing videos, like the video, check out this other video. I am the best YouTuber in the world.